we invite you to preview our inaugural exhibition of California and important Western art, which highlights pictures from many of the luminaries who worked in the Southland and the West during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Most of the artists featured studied and worked throughout the world, ultimately spending part of their careers both living and painting in California. The 1848 gold rush in Northern California brought an onslaught of individuals hoping to get rich quick. As San Francisco slowly developed into an economic center, artists began to venture to Northern California. In an effort to encourage tourism, railroad companies often commissioned artists to paint the great expanse of the Western Territories. William Keith first settled in San Francisco in 1859, but eventually left to study art in Dusseldorf, Germany. When he finally returned to California in the early 1870s, he developed a close friendship with the great naturalist John Muir. Along with Muir, he traveled to Mount Shasta and Mount Rainier in the late 1880s. This romantic view of Mount Shasta, painted in a Barbizon style, reflects the interests of Hudson River School painters, such as Albert Bierstadt, who memorialized it and romanticized the grandiose American landscape. J. Bond Francisco was one of the earliest and most important artists in Los Angeles before and after the turn of the 20th century. Works from the beginning of his career reflect his academic training at the Royal Academy in Munich. Once settled in California, he began to hike and fish in the outdoors, taking his easel and paints into the lush Southern California landscape. Tejon Ranch was a perfect stomping ground. Approximately 60 miles from Los Angeles, this privately owned ranch offered unobscured vistas. Francisco's Foothills of California, Tejon Ranch, is bathed in light and color. As the artist stated, "To lose myself in the mountains, that is the utmost pleasure. To paint nature in her still, large moods lends a thrill to the artist that is unknown to the work done just within the four walls of a studio." Alson Clark, who settled in California later in his career, studied with William Merritt Chase and James Abbott McNeill Whistler in Paris. By the early 19-teens, Clark's style had given over to the luminosity of Impressionism. His Shore by the St. Lawrence, painted when he and his wife returned to America after the outbreak of World War I, reflects his Impressionist techniques at its best. Exploding in a riot of color, dappled with sunlight, and executed with divided brushstrokes, this work was a prelude to the types of Impressionist strategies he continued to employ when the couple moved to California in 1919. Edgar Payne was an inveterate traveler who spent long sojourns in the regions of the Southwest, from coastal areas to the deserts and mountains. He first visited California in 1911, eventually moving to the artist colony in Laguna Beach by 1917, the most important Impressionist colony in Southern California. Under Payne's leadership, the artist community held their first exhibition and sale in 1918. The formation of the Laguna Beach Art Association immediately followed, and Payne was elected its first president. Payne's Navajo's Waiting is an iconic work that underscores Payne's interest in Southwest subjects. The work of San Diego painters are represented by Maurice Braun, Charles Reifel, Charles Arthur Fries, and Alfred Mitchell. Northern California is well represented with works by M. Evelyn McCormick, Henry Brewer, Carl Sammons, and Armand Hansen. The modernist aesthetic is reflected in three exquisite works by Helena Dunlap, one of the most important female modernist artists who worked in California and abroad. The important Western paintings include iconic works by Berger Sanson and Maynard Dixon. With paintings representing scenes of California and beyond, this sale offers collectors of all kinds an opportunity to buy rare and important pieces of art on March 20th, 2012 in Beverly Hills. Visit ha.com/5103 to view our online catalog for additional lots and information on regional select highlight preview events.